Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and this is the drops video for week 24 of the fantasy season. Now, I know you're in the middle of your playoffs right now, and you're probably thinking, is this guy droppable at this point since he's not producing for me? Odds are the answer is yes. If a player is on your team and he's not producing right now, it's tough to hold them in the fantasy playoffs. Usually you want to have a team full of guys who are producing at the moment. There's no waiting and seeing anymore in the fantasy playoffs. And that's why this drops video has more players that are high rostered than I would normally have in a drops video. But before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter. I'm constantly putting out some tweets to help you guys out in any way possible, so be sure to do that. My Twitter is @FantasyTipped. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the content for today, and let's start with some forwards that you can consider dropping from your team this week during the fantasy playoffs. And first on the list, I have Brock Besser of the Vancouver Canucks, 67% rostered. Now, the thing is with Brock Besser, obviously, if you're in a super deep league, like I'm talking 16-man and up, obviously I'm holding on to Brock Besser, but in 12 to 14-man leagues, I'm starting to consider dropping him because really right now he's not producing, and you need guys who are producing in the fantasy playoffs in order to win your week. Obviously, if you're cruising by your week and you don't need Brock Besser to get you points to win, like you're already winning by a lot, yeah, you can hold on to him and hope that he maybe turns it around next week. But if you need immediate points, Besser is someone that you can definitely consider dropping. And then I have Andrew Mangiapane of the Calgary Flames, 65% rostered, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone as streaky as Mangiapane. He will go on long stretches of getting so many points, so many goals, and then he'll just go quiet for so long that you're just like, is this guy ever going to turn it around? Yeah, he will, but when, right? In the fantasy playoffs, you're not waiting and seeing when he's going to turn things around. You're dropping him because he's not producing for you, and he's a liability right now to have on your roster. And then I have TJ Oshie of the Washington Capitals, and he's also a guy who's not producing right now, and it's unfortunate, and Oshie would almost never be a drop for me normally, but you need players who are producing for you. Obviously, if you're in a 16 or deeper league than that, I'm not dropping TJ Oshie, and even in 12 to 14, you can consider holding him for a couple more games, see if he turns it around. But if you cannot afford to do that, Oshie is someone that you definitely can consider dropping at this point because he's really not doing anything. And then I have Martin Necas, who's been a drop for me for the past few weeks. He's, no matter where they put him in the lineup, he's not producing, and therefore, guys, for some reason, if you still have him on your team in the fantasy playoffs, let him go and grab someone who's going to help you out a little more than Necas. Then I have Nick Schmaltz, and this is kind of a casualty of Clayton Keller going down. Schmaltz was getting a lot of points playing on the top line and the top power play with Keller. And with Keller gone, I don't see Schmaltz producing as well, and already he has not been producing as much. So if that trend continues, he's definitely a drop. There are probably some better players out there that you can grab instead of Nick Schmaltz. Jumping into defensemen now, and first on the list I have Aaron Ekblad, who's still 93% rostered. Frank Seravalli has already reported that he will pretty much almost guaranteed miss the rest of the regular season and probably come back for the first game of the playoffs. So I don't know why everyone's holding on to him. I guess if you have the IR room, you might as well and hope maybe he comes back for the last game of the season. But honestly, guys, I don't think that's going to happen. And if you need the IR space, he's definitely someone who's droppable right now. Then I have Neil Pionk of the Winnipeg Jets, 79% rostered. And he's another guy who's not doing anything right now. He's not on the top power play. He hasn't been for a while. Peripherals are not good enough right now. And if you need to drop him, he's definitely someone that you can drop because he's not going to really help you out right now in the fantasy playoffs. It's probably worth picking somebody else up if there's somebody out there that you're looking at. Next is Ivan Provorov, and man, has he been brutal lately. He has no points in his last 11 games and only 1 assist in his last 17 games. On top of that, his peripherals have not really been there, guys, and he's definitely someone that I am dropping now because he's not going to help me win the fantasy playoffs. He's not going to help me at all. Maybe he will turn things around, but you cannot take that chance because he really is not playing well right now, and therefore is a really easy drop. Then I have Thomas Chabot of the Ottawa Senators, 58% rostered, and guys, he's out for the rest of the year. Go ahead and drop him. He's done. The only leagues I'm keeping him in are keeper leagues. And last but not least, I have Nate Schmidt, who right now is on the COVID list, but on top of that, he's been playing really poorly. He's not getting a lot of points right now. He's not really putting up very good peripherals, and he's going in the negative plus minus pretty often. So Nate Schmidt right now, not someone who I'm looking at for the fantasy playoffs. Jumping into goalies now, and first I have my MANSCAPED must-trim player of the video, Jordan Binnington. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIP. Get wet and clean with your brand new Manscaped shower routine. Now, why is Jordan Binnington my Manscaped must-trim player of the video? Well, I shouldn't really even have to explain this. He has been brutal. He's starting only 1 out of every 3 games or so, and with the last start that he just had, he may not even get that anymore. He's been really, really bad. Husso has been significantly better, and he's basically a drop in every single league, no matter how deep it is, because he's not helping you out at all. Then I have Alex Nedeljkovic, Detroit Red Wings, 50% rostered, and he's someone who's a drop in the majority of leagues because he's playing really bad. Detroit's letting in a lot of goals lately, and he's one of the big reasons. He's the guy letting in a lot of goals, and if that trend continues, he's not helping you out at all for the fantasy playoffs. Obviously, if you're in a super deep league, there's no other starting goalies available. You have to hold on to Nedeljkovic and just pray that he starts saving some more shots. But if there's somebody else out there that's, starting some games and is probably going to do better, he may be worth grabbing over Nedeljkovic. And then I have Peter Mrazek and Eric Kallgren. And Mrazek is out till the end of the fantasy season for sure, so he's an easy drop. And Kallgren is someone that I'm dropping because it looks like Jack Campbell's going to be back for Toronto's next game, and he's definitely the better goalie, and he's the guy that they're going to want to ride in the playoffs. And therefore, Kallgren's not going to get a whole lot of starts anymore, and he makes for an easy drop. And last but not least, I have Antti Raanta of the Carolina Hurricanes. And yeah, he was getting a few more starts recently, but Frederik Andersen's coming off a shutout recently, and he is definitely the guy, the starting goalie in Carolina. And I'm not banking my life in the fantasy playoffs on Raanta hopefully getting a start. It's not worth it, guys. Drop Antti Raanta and grab someone who's actually going to get starts. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tip. Good luck with your matchups.